Space News 34, August 5, 2024. Hello again. Thank you for being here with me once more. I hope you are very well today. I am Marie. Hello, welcome to my channel. This information can be seen as science fiction, or as the viewer sees best, and I post it for entertainment purposes only. Still, I take my information very seriously, and for whoever has eyes to see. The first piece of news for today. I have dissolved the Swaruunean race, because in my opinion, it makes no sense, and it has no biological, nor genetic support, contrary to what my predecessors have said in the past, leaving it as only a legally imposed, useless spin-off of simple Taygeteanos. This is not a contradiction, and I am not going against Swaruu of error nor Yazhi for having published that information, as this is an evolution of the subject and not an inconsistency. When Queen Alanim first suggested me as her successor, one of the things against me was that I was legally not Taygetan, because I was officially a Swaruunean. This was simply because I am Swaruu of error's granddaughter, and therefore I held the surname Swaruu. And the Taygetan queen had to be Taygetan, obviously, so I had to make a case against the existence of the Swaruunean race to be accepted. For those of you who do not remember this, Swaruu of error, who first started to be in contact with Robert of Despejando Enigmas, and Gosha of Cosmic Agency, back in December of 2017, went to the Galactic Federation Local Council in the Andromedan Biosphere ship Viera and legally managed to create the Swaruunean race, with this creating a rupture and a separation with the Taygetan people. I talked to Yazhi Swaruu just this morning, as she was the one who together with Swaruu of error gave this information to Robert and Gosha, and she reluctantly agreed with what I will say next. As it is understood, Swaruu of error provided the local Galactic Federation Council genetic proof that her DNA had mutated to hold full 12-strand DNA, making it crystalline, unlike most of the Taygetan DNA, which is more Lyrian, more human in other words, therefore different and another species. What I have found with the help of the ship's surgeon Sane Trey, and using genetic Taygetan records, is that 12-stranded so-called crystalline DNA is actually quite common among the Taygetan population. Moreover, it is also quite common among Lyrians, regardless of the star race variant they may belong to, including Earth humans. DNA, crystalline or not, is a materialization, a manifestation on the side of the living, of the soul, inside the physical body. 12-stranded crystalline DNA, or however you want to call it, is not accepted as a scientific fact on Earth because of its limited and controlled science, yet it is fully recognized elsewhere off the planet. Therefore, holding any type of proof of having 12-stranded DNA as a Lyrian does not mean that the subject belongs to a new species, as it is a quality and a variant inside another, and from my point of view it is as absurd as me legally starting a new race simply because I have dark eyes, unlike most other Taygeteanos who have blue ones. Another reason why Swaruu of error claimed that she was another species is that she and her time-jumping variants tended to self-replicate by parthenogenesis, which is the ability of some creatures, including some Lyrians, to self-impregnate, therefore reproducing without the need of male intervention, although the product will always be an identical clone of the mother. This is again only a characteristic of all Lyrian species, among others, and many space human women can also do that, although it is more common in some races than in others, including the human race on Earth where it also occurs although extremely rarely, yet, it is there as a fact. But my main point against the existence of the Swaruunean race is the simple and, in-your-face, fact that there are no males, and you cannot have a single gender species. You may have a genderless species that reproduces in another way, like the Arcturian Diaslientiplex, but not within a sexually reproducing, two-gender species. Where are the Swaruunean men? You cannot be an all-female species if you depend on the males of another. That makes no sense. As it was later physically proven by a Swaruu of error time-jumping variant, and by my mother Julia, Swaruuneans can and do reproduce with a male, as any other Taygetan or Lyrian variant, because my mother Julia Swaruu has a father, and so do I, and that's why I have dark eyes unlike the other Swaruu, but that is another story. Without two genders, there cannot be a Lyrian variant species, therefore I am officially dissolving what Swaruu of error legally did, and reuniting the so-called Swaruuneans with the rest of the Taygetan population, as more of them, and as it should be. Swaruu of error's motivation to create a Swaruunean race is still shady, and it has no genetic sustenance. It was only been sustained legally and politically, not biologically. There is no Swaruunean race. We are all Taygetan. The next piece of news. The official Taygetan accusation against the Saturn-based Galactic Federation which oversees this solar system, regarding Queen Alanim's attempted assassination has received an official response, yet it is only coming from the local Vieira-based federation, and not from Saturn higher above. They state that the Galactic Federation's local representatives have nothing to do with such an assassination attempt, and that they understand we are upset yet we should not generalize, as they would never try to do such a hideous thing. In the first place, we never accused the local federation of anything, we only gave them our message so they could give it in turn to the federation level higher above, the Saturn one, because those are impossible to reach directly, you can't even go there in a starship, as Saturn and its surroundings are a no-fly zone. You go there, and Federation warships kick you out, regardless of who you may be. The local Federation's useless reply has been taken by us the Taygeteanos as an unempathetic and illogical response, which also serves as a cover-up for those higher above, as if they were protecting them. We do have genetic fingerprint proof that the pathogen which was designed to attack Queen Alanim specifically could have only been developed in the genetic engineering laboratories which are part of the solar system level Galactic Federation headquarters. That piece of information was provided to us by our friends and allies the Irma, but I cannot go into specifics to protect their sources. The attempted assassination of a high leader, in this case, the at the time, Queen of Taygeta, an ambassador of the Alcyone Council to the Galactic Federation, is an extremely serious event, and must not be taken lightly nor swept under the rug, as the local authorities in the Vieira are attempting, because we do not see them moving to solve the problem, and to find the ones who are guilty of such a crime, although we already have their names. This event has caused a bad rupture in diplomatic relationships between the Galactic Federation and the Taygetanos, Irma, and the entire Alcyone Council, which oversees and guards the interests of all the star nations and cultures, in the M45 Pleiades star cluster. I understand that the actions of a few cannot dictate how the entire Galactic Federation must be seen, yet the lack of support and the lack of concern about what just happened leads us to generalize inevitably, because we no longer know who to trust within that organization. Even less so, when Captain Goriel and his team were sent to represent the Taygetan people during the local Galactic Federation's meetings and conferences about why Earth must be kept as it is, were rudely and obnoxiously treated by their hosts. Thus we translate the threat to Captain Goriel and his team as well, therefore they will no longer be attending such meetings, as there may be a safety issue there against them. Anyhow, we've seen enough of those conferences, which are only being used to manipulate the perception of the attending star races, about how Earth-Lyrian humans must be seen, this is quite outrageous, as it is they who are asking us not to generalize. Earth humans, the population, are not causing the problems of Earth, it is the Galactic Federation-controlled governments who are, and we have proof of that. Furthermore, we are well aware that I am their most probable next target, yet I am here, unafraid, and ready to face any challenge. The Galactic Federation has no legal sustenance to demand we leave Earth's orbit, as it would go against a handful of their own regulations, for example, the one that states that no race can be forced to leave their starseeds, and the personnel they have on the surface of a planet. Thus, to be forced out of here, they would have to let us mass extract all Taygeteanos, which also would bring all kinds of ethical problems and conundrums, as many do not wish to leave, and even if they would, it would mean a mass exodus which would expose the presence of so-called extraterrestrials, therefore endangering their cherished 3D Earth matrix, and its status quo. Such action would also expose a less than ethical Galactic Federation to the rest of the star races who are also in low Earth orbit, probably causing a mass awakening to the fact that the Galactic Federation is, at least, acting in a very regressive and evil way, and that is not in their best interests. Therefore they choose to hide and act as if nothing were happening, gaslighting you to think that you are the one who is being paranoid. It is like them throwing a rock at you, and then hiding their hand, claiming it was not them, when you know it was, and then they counter accusing you of being unfairly distrustful. The next piece of news for today. I have talked to my Antarian counterpart, who wishes her name not to be mentioned yet, and with King Rur of the Irma conglomerate, about the possibility of organizing a series of meetings or conferences about Earth, where any star race can attend, so we can expose and share our points of view to the other cultures in Earth orbit. Although this is still in its organizing stages, we hope to have them soon. The problem is that it is inherently dangerous to organize in-person meetings, where people go physically, so we must see the possibility of using a virtually created place of reunion where remote presence can be used, for safety reasons. Yet the problem is that not all the interested star races have the same remote presence capacity as we have, so there is a system incompatibility issue to deal with first. Other races may have remote presence capacity, yet only for a limited amount of their people at one time, thus also complicating how the event can be organized. In another piece of space news, Starship Toleka is still docked with Sadicleya, although we have concluded our move and only small things and details are missing, for example, moving the internet equipment and antennas from Toleka. We are now fully living inside Starship Sadicleya. Starship Toleka will be returning to Taygeta, to Tema in 3 or 5 days. Our crews have switched officially since last Thursday, August 1st. All of Toleka's original crew, all the people you already know, are now living and in their roles and posts inside Sadicleya, and vice versa. The issues and strong diplomatic problems we are having with the Galactic Federation have left all of the Taygeteanos with only one internet entry point, which is already saturated, so for the time being, we cannot initiate the second contact project, as there is no technical way to connect 900 people to the internet. This issue is being addressed, yet it is not solved yet, and it does not look good for now, as the Federation is not cooperating with us effectively. In yet another piece of news, we are well aware of all the problems and the menace of economic collapse and war on Earth, yet for now, let me remind you that such threats have always been there. Most of it is being produced by the media, who is being instructed by their masters to create a fear atmosphere among the human population. As I've said before, even if it is just a sick game, people do suffer and people do die, as there are many struggles in lower levels, and all that suffering would be dissolved if the people knew the truth of how and who is organizing it from well above. You know who I am referring to. Both the threats of economic collapse and war, local or global, are a case of cry wolf, as they have been pushing that for so many years. No one can ever really know when it is going to happen, if it happens at all, until it has already come to pass. The best and only thing we can do is continue with our lives as best as we can, while keeping a highly skeptical eye on all those psychopaths, the ones on Earth and the ones up here in space as well. So this I just said, goes for me as well. This will be all for today. As always, thank you for watching my video, and for liking, sharing, and subscribing for more. It helps this channel grow a lot. And I hope to see you here next time. With much love and appreciation, your friend, Marie Swar.